Okay, so I'm going to run to remember where we're at. So 2 holes appear, a fox is appearing at a relatively reasonable rate, maybe. Okay, and so those are numbers that we can change to figure that out. Of course, if I had a larger screen, more foxes, then maybe that's a good rate. I don't know, but those are numbers we can change. So I think the next thing that would be good would maybe be to bring in a hammer, have the hammer move around the screen, and then detect our clicks. So we're going to need another actor to do that. I like to put all my actors together. Let me just stop my code. So I'm going to come in with, so hammer starts with H2, so that's not going to be good. I'll go with hammer, and that's going to be an actor. I put the hammer icon up on D2L. Let me just confirm our images. I think it's called ham1. So what I've actually done is I've gone in and I've created 2 hammers. I went into Paint and I just took my hammer and I rotated it by 90 degrees. So that would be when I'm running around with the hammer, and then when I press, I want it to change into that icon. I'm not sure why one has a black and the other has a white background. I think they're both transparent, but I may have to make a change on that later on. I'm not 100% certain, so I'm just going to test that. So my actor will be ham1. So that's my hammer. And whenever I'm drawing, I'm also going to draw my hammer as well. So hammer.draw. And let's just see if that hammer appears now at the top left-hand corner of the screen. Could not save. Okay, hang on. Let's go to my images. Oh, no, ham2, not ham1. Try it again. Perfect, my hammer's there. So now what I want to be able to do is I want to detect when my hammer is moving. Obviously but my screen is too small and I'm going to need to make some changes here. But there we have a built-in draw command. We have a built-in update. Those are built-in functions. We've created a function called placeFox. There are a series of different mouse events, just like in CMU Academy. I'm going to define, and the built-in, there's a mouse move, I think. On mouse move, I'm pretty darn sure that when the mouse moves, the system automatically calls this function, and it will give us the position of the mouse. And just to confirm that that's what it's doing, I'm going to print the position, and I'm going to see what happens. If I run this, whenever my mouse moves, I'm hoping that the position of the mouse will be printed to my screen. So my mouse is moving, but I'm not over the screen yet, so I need to come over. And my mouse is moving, and notice as I move to the right, the x coordinate is increasing. So that's the function is doing what I think it should do. So what I'm going to do is, rather than printing the position, what I want to do is I want to set the x value of my mouse, of my hammer. So I'm going to say my did I call it hammer? Hammer.x, or actually I can take the hammer.position. The position of my hammer is going to be whatever the position of my mouse is. So whatever the position of my mouse is gets stored in the variable called pos. And then I'm going to set the built-in position variable for a hammer. All actors have an x coordinate, a y coordinate. They also have a position coordinate. So I can either just set the x, just set the y, or I can just set the entire x and y together as a position. So if that works, then as I move my mouse around, the hammer should move with me. And perfect, it's doing that. And I just want to confirm that, remember that whenever I call the function, I had to give it values, and it's going to store it in something. If I wanted to, I could store this in a variable called Noah. And then that value called Noah, built into an actor, is a position. So I can't change that. It knows what a position is. But I'm going to set it to whatever variable I've stored the position in. So I could, when I call the mouse move, the system sends the coordinates, and I could store it in a variable here called Noah if I wanted, and then I could set that value into the position of the hammer, just to demonstrate that this still works. Okay. No, it doesn't. Okay, I guess it has to be built in. It has to be a position. So I was wrong about that. So for this built-in function, it has to be position. I do not have the option to change the name. So this properly gets my mouse to move, which is great. In the same way, I can have an on mouse click. On mouse click. And that also takes the position variable. But this time, when I click my mouse, I want my hammer to show the rotated one. So I'm going to take my actor, which is the hammer, and I'm going to take the image property. I'm going to change its image to be that of ham3. So inside of my images folder, I've got a ham2, which is up, and then a ham3, which is down. So when I click my mouse, I want my hammer to swap its image to be ham3. I'm going to try that. So I'm moving around, and then I click, and it's not doing it. So now I don't know. Why is it not doing it? Did I not get my mouse click correct? Maybe I've made a mistake there. So I'm going to say print click. So this is how I debug my code. Is it even recognizing my mouse click? Oh, I think I know what I've done wrong. I don't think it's called mouse click. I think it's called on mouse down. So let me just test. If it doesn't print anything, then I've got my command wrong. Nothing's being printed. So it's not on mouse click. It's on mouse down. Every language is different. Every library is different. Now when I click, the mouse is swapped and it printed click. So I've obviously made a mistake with my image. It doesn't have my transparency, so I'll have to fix that. I'll do that in a second. So I'll get rid of my click. And I'm going to also introduce sounds. So I'm going to click on the sounds library. So when I open up sounds, it will also have created a sounds folder inside of the same folder where my code is. So I've got an images folder and I've got a sounds folder. Inside the sounds folder, I'm going to add a little sound. I think that Pygame0 will take WAV files, and I think they also take OGG files, OGG, and they may take MP3. I don't know about that. But I've got a sound file that I'm going to give you, and it's already uploaded on D2L. But I'm just going to see if we can get this to work. So when I bring in my sound file, I'm putting it in the sounds folder. So inside of sounds, my file is called eat. And so I can access, whenever I click my mouse, I'm going to say sounds.eat. So whatever sounds are inside of the sounds folder, you just call the name of that sound, and you say you want to play it. And I think when I run my code now, I move around, my hammer's following me. If I click, it should swap the hammer down, and I should hear the sound eat. I'm going to turn my volume up. Okay, so that was a whack sound. So I'll pause the video here. I'm going to get my transparency done on my second hammer, and I'll get that second hammer loaded up onto D2L. So this will give you, you should have a hammer number 1 will be up there. Hammer number 2 I'll get fixed right now and get that uploaded. And the sound file is also up there. So we can see if we can get that portion done.